The truth is that it's much easier to talk about the past than it is to take responsibility for the future. It's much easier to tell people what you've done than commit to what you haven't done yet. We all live in what I'd call an unfinished future, a version of our lives that could exist but doesn't yet because we haven't made it happen. Not because we're not capable and not because we don't have potential, but in ways that we don't like to admit. We hesitate, we delay, we wait, and sometimes we hide. That unfinished future looks different for all of us. For some of us, it's a career that we haven't pursued, a difficult conversation that we've been avoiding, a risk that we haven't taken yet, a version of our lives that we haven't stepped into. But it's there for all of us. I know what it's like to hold back, to stay quiet when I had something to say, to sit in a room where I had an opinion and I chose not to share, to wait until I felt ready, to convince myself, not yet, maybe later, I'll do it when I'm more confident. And growing up, I had a lot of reasons that I could point to. I have no legs and one arm. I'm different. I don't want the attention. I don't want to get it wrong. And on the surface, those all sound reasonable. But if I'm being honest, I was just making excuses. And I was choosing fear over courage. Fear disguised as logic. Fear disguised as humility. Fear telling me that I needed more time when really I needed more courage. Fear was winning. And it didn't feel like fear. It felt sensible. It felt safe. It felt like the right decision. And the part that I struggle to admit is that it cost me time. Years of it. Years where I could have shared more, helped more, tried more, and failed more. But instead, I chose to stay where it was comfortable. I was more concerned with how I looked, how I'd be judged, how I'd be perceived, whether I was good enough yet, rather than how I could help. I see that differently now. It took hearing someone else's story, the obstacles that they have overcame, and how they reframe things, to dig me out of a dark hole and make me realize that I was capable of much more than I'd allowed myself to believe. And when you have something that can help someone, a lesson, a story, a perspective, something that you've learned the hard way, and you choose to keep it to yourself, that's not humility, that's selfish. And that was a hard thing for me to accept because I always saw myself as someone who was willing to contribute. But intention is not the same as action, and staying silent doesn't serve anybody. And after that, I had to ask myself a difficult question. Who might have benefited had I spoken sooner? Who might have felt less alone? Who might have seen things differently? Who might have been kinder to themselves? To that question, I'll never know the answer. But that question changed how I see responsibility. I'm still learning, still figuring it out. I'm not the finished version of anything. Not as an athlete, not as a speaker, and not as a person. And for a long time, that bothered me. I thought I needed to be that person who had achieved it all and had it all worked out before I could share anything. But maybe that's the point. None of us are finished. None of us have a final version. We can always be better. Being our authentic selves, our unfinished futures won't be perfect, but they can be purposeful, and we can contribute in the best way we can, however imperfect that may be. I want to reach my highest level as an athlete, to push myself, to compete, to be my best. I know what it's like to train when no one's watching, to show up when I don't feel like it, to keep going when progress is slow, to win and to lose. Sport has changed my life, but it's no longer the full picture. I want to use my platform to reach people, to shift perspective, to make someone stop and think, maybe I can do this. Not because I have all the answers, but because I'm willing to be honest about the lessons that I've learned, the feelings that I've had, and the perspectives that I've changed. I know how it feels to have no confidence, to doubt myself all the time, to question whether I'm enough, to feel like I don't quite fit. to feel stuck. Even when I knew I was capable of more, I've been there. And I also know how it feels to slowly climb out of that. Not in one big moment, but in small decisions, small acts of courage, repeated again and again. I didn't get here on my own. People helped me. They believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. They encouraged me to take chances. They showed me what I was capable of when I couldn't see it myself. And now I feel like I'm in a stronger position. Not a perfect one, but a stronger one. More clear, more aware, and more willing to serve even when it's uncomfortable. And with that comes responsibility. Responsibility to use what I've learned. Responsibility to not hold back in the same way. And responsibility to contribute while I'm still growing. Our unfinished futures isn't just about what we want to achieve. It's about what we owe to our name, to the people who helped us, to the people out there who need to hear what we've been through. And most importantly, to the version of ourselves that we haven't become yet. The version of ourselves that only exists on the other side of action. And the version of ourselves that's only available to us when we stop waiting. I can't get those lost years back, where I played it small, where I let fear make my decisions for me, where I waited instead of acting. And that's still a hard thing to sit with, because time is the only thing that we're all given equally, and it's the only thing that we can never get back. But I can decide what I do next. And that decision is more important than anything that's behind me. So now, my goal is simple: to reach as many people as I can, to share honestly, to speak even when I don't feel fully ready, to try and to risk getting it wrong. And if even one person walks away thinking differently, taking a step that they've been avoiding, and being kinder to themselves, then it will all be worth it. Your future isn't finished, and mine isn't either. And that's not something to be afraid of. It's something to be excited for, because it means that there's more to learn, more to give, and more to become. I thought I was limited, that my story was already written, defined by what happened to me and what I'd been through. But now I know that my story can be much more than that. And I'm here to tell you that your story can be too. The truth is that the life that you're capable of living, the impact that you're capable of having, and the person that you're capable of becoming is still waiting for you. Thank you.